On these subjects or on any other matter pertaining to this campaign. The third and final subject, which I shall discuss, is a specific. Your hand is the record. Specifically, I shall push hard for the sunset concept, the zero-based budgeting concept, the auditing of government accounts, the restrictions on congressional travel, restrictions on congressional allowances, and in general, more accountability on the part of those who hold public office. I will actively support the balancing of the federal budget, and I will favor an immediate reduction in spending and elimination of unneeded programs. My general philosophy will be that the government which governs least governs best, and that the office which I shall assume is that of the people and not the person who temporarily holds that office as the choice of the people. I'll be glad to respond to any questions. I might. Example, funds are provided for up to 26 trips a year by commercial airlines. Explanation of what you have for this particular example that I'm.
Opportunity to meet with you and to say a few words to you about the America we love and the kind of economic system that has made this nation, and that we want to do everything within our power to make sure that it continues to make this the greatest land in all the world. Now, I appreciate Tom, Dr. Payne from Garnesville emceeing this meeting tonight, and when Skip Ross told me several weeks ago that he would come to Alabama, and I began to think, well, what better way, right down at the last of the campaign trail, than to have a lot of fun, by having a good meeting. And so we asked Skip to come down and hold a business meeting. So this is not a Guy Hunt rally. This is an Amway business meeting that you're just letting Guy Hunt say a few words in, because that I am indeed one of you. As Tom mentioned, the fact of winning, and I think that everyone here tonight considers themselves to be a winner, and if they're not, well, they're not very proud of themselves. But there's a lot of things that I would like to mention, and I'm not going to take much time, because you've got a good program, a good show from one of the greatest business people that I've ever known in my lifetime, from the great state of Ohio, and I don't want to take much of his time. But I do want to talk to you about something that's basic to America for just a moment, and I want to pause long enough to remember that we've got a lot of problems in our country, and we've got a lot of problems in our state. But still, there are millions and millions of people the world over that would give everything they possess to be able to sit down in Birmingham, Alabama tonight and know they're American citizens. And we've never had to have any iron curtains to keep our people from leaving our country, because it is a great country. And there's one basic difference to our country and any country of the world, and that's because that we have an economic system that's second to none in all the world. And our economic system is simply this, that a man, woman, boy, or girl in America has the right to work harder and longer hours in order to have the nicer things of life for themselves and their family, And if that's ever taken from us by those who want to bring our country to its knees with a socialistic America, then freedom, as you and I have known it, will become a mere shadow and live only in the memory of those who once had it and lost it. So what we fight for and what we believe in is really the freedom of America, because economic freedom and freedom go hand in hand. Now there's a lot of difference. A lot of people misunderstand when we talk about the free enterprise system. They like to see they look upon some big monopoly and they say, this is it. It's taking advantage of the little folks. But you know, we know better than that, because we know that the economic system that's made our country the great nation that it is based upon the idea that you can start and literally become a winner and raise yourself, as it were, by your own bootstraps to be a successful individual. And Helen and I, in the 9 years of our life that we've been associated with this great company, have had the opportunity to tour the Center of Free Enterprise in Ada, Michigan, and to see the story that it tells. Because I want to tell you tonight that we're in trouble in our country. When 60% of our high school seniors come out of high school thinking it's wrong and immoral for a company or an individual to make a profit on their investment. And we've got to continue some more education. But I just want to stop and think tonight. Oftentimes, people look at the person with a big house on the hill and they say, he did it, but we can't. But we don't believe that, do we? We believe that we have the opportunity in a free America to grow to whatever level that we want to grow. Now I want to put a test on tonight, lest someone think, well, you know, these are a bunch of big shots and so forth. And we all, you know, don't matter if we are a little shot in our occupation of the world, oftentimes we have that ego and feel bigger, and we should. But I just wanted to give a test tonight. How many truck drivers we have here? Okay. How many secretaries? School teachers? All right. Just looking across here, accountants, lawyers. Oh, I know, yeah, there's one way back to back. He won't even sit in here with the rest of us. So, you see, oh, sorry about that, Bob. Bob McKee's sitting back there, and I knew he was, how many housewives we got? Oh, goodness. Oh, that's that. But you see, here it is. This is a dream of America. Too many people think the dream is you look upon something big and say, it's not for me. But the dream that you and I and Helen and I have been teaching people all across the southeastern United States and across the United States, and maybe some of you even across the world, is that opportunity still lives in America. For all people who desire to lift themselves out of the rut in which they're in, and really become winners and to begin to accomplish the things of life. And I think that's a story that, okay, but we've been trying to decide if Max qualified. And he was running for the Public Service Commission, and if he's going to win that job, he's going to need a second income to get by on. His name. What do you see? He's, yeah, stand up. All right, that we're in a fight in this country of ours. Not so government that would take from us the rights that we have to earn a living in a business that we want to be in. And reminds me of an experience that Helen and I had in March of this year on the island in the Pacific. And there at the burial ground of American servicemen who had been killed in that theater of war. And we stood there and we didn't know any of the names on those crosses. And one particular line of crosses was of blood brothers who had been killed and buried right alongside of each other. Those out of the same family, and the great and tremendous loss. And as Rich DeVos and Jay Van Andel and others have told you, Congressman Conlon from Arizona and others who have spoken to us at our conventions, that we need to be involved. And I would like to think of it from this standpoint tonight. That a person wrote a letter to a San Francisco newspaper, and he said, I woke up the other day to the fact that I'm a sick American. He said, I had 2 cars in my garage, a modest bank account, a nice suburban home, a life insurance for the governorship of Alabama. How are you going to clean up the state? said, that's simple for somebody in the soap business. But I want to close. I think they're zeroing in on that.
Okay,
and with that red coat, and you being probate judge and a veterinarian too, you see, so there's no telling what they'll have on you.
It's true. It's true. That's all right.
You may have internal revenue checking you or something. You can never tell. But, all right. Okay. Well, let me go out here. These fellas are afraid anyway.
Hello. Glad to see you. Good to see you, Mark. This is my son, Sippy.
Hey there. How you doing? How there, Guy Hunt? Good to meet you.
Saw you on television.
Stay. Well, I sure would appreciate any help that any of you can give me.
Good.
How are you? I'm fine. Guy Hunt. I'm running for governor. Sure would appreciate your votes in November.
Thank you so much.
How you doing? Huh? Hi, Guy Hunt. Need your vote.
We're in a basically agricultural area, and you're a former farmer. What are your views on the dealings of Alabama's agricultural industry?
Well, I think that we've got a sleeping giant on our hands. I think Alabama's potential we've not even begun to realize the potential. I'm not just a former farmer. I'm still a farmer in a sense, in that we still grow cattle and timber on our farm. I am a farmer, full-time farmer, and that means that we had all of our income for 13 years of our life from the farm. I think what we've got to provide for Alabamians and what we've got to assist Alabamians that the small family farm may continue to exist is to provide more markets for farm products all across the country. I have a system worked out that I believe will work. It's a computerized system where we find the products as they're grown, who's got them, and then whether, as I travel around the United States and the world with business and farm leaders to find markets for Alabama products, whether the buyer is in Tokyo or Seattle that we find, we can bring buyer and grower together. You see, large farms are able to have their own marketing system. As you remember, some associations in Florida can market their oranges, Southern California markets their lettuce, but the problem is that the small farmer does not have this ability to market their products at long distances, and so I think that in doing this, we'll be able to market Alabama's farm products, and with our potential for irrigation, our rich farmlands, the desire of farmers to work, and of course we're here in Chilton County, where I would like to see everybody anywhere in the world to get a chance to eat a good Chilton County peach. And
well, in this increased export that you're wanting to bring about, you're also advocating, I'm sure, an increase in services and personnel, manpower, but at the same time, no new taxes to support these costs.
we have existing manpower as far as the Extension Service, as far as Auburn University, as far as the various agriculture agencies, that I don't think it will take an increase in personnel. I think it's just a redirection. It's just getting down to the brass tacks or to the details of what needs to be done, to have a governor that really wants to do something for the farmer. And I think we've got a great potential with our Port of Mobile, that we can ship our grain to other countries of the world, and farmers can receive more benefit of this rather than selling it, letting it set, letting the middleman get it all. I'd like to see us begin to ship our Alabama products to the other countries of the world. And of course, one of the main problems we have is that our export negotiators a lot of times don't give an even break to American farmers. They give the break to the other countries of the world, and I'm going to be an effective spokesman arguing for and putting up a howl when the Alabama farmer's not treated right.
Governor Wallace is...
That's correct. I think that what Alabama's got to do in order to provide the services that we need is to build our state. We're the second richest state next to Alaska in natural resources, and yet we're 48th in per capita income. So it's obvious that we've not been moving according to our potential. And of course, not only do we want to bring a quality industry in that want to pay good wages for our working people, that want to keep the environment clean, we've got to expand our present industries, and we can only do that by selling Alabama products. And I have pledged that I'll travel anywhere around the world necessary to sell those products. So we've got to grow. That's the only way we'll provide the services we need. I want to build a tourism industry that's second to none in the nation. Alabama's got so much to offer. We've got our mountains and our streams and our beaches, and yet we haven't sold our state very well. We can take this money, it will increase the revenue in our state treasury without a higher taxation on the people of this state. Then we can build the kind of road system we need. And then we can do away with the taxes that I want to do away with, like in 1979 to set a timetable to do away with the gross receipts tax on utilities, in 1980 to do away with the sales tax on prescription drugs, and 1981 to do away with the sales tax on basic food items. All of this by growing industrially and by a growing tourist industry in our state, which we've got every potential, plus the cutting out of the waste and inefficiency of government. I think that we can do it without any increase in taxation.
So you see all areas important in gelling together to form a...
The whole thing's got to gel. We can't have a good road system without having industrial growth and tourism. We can't have industrial growth and tourism without having a good road system, good utilities. We can't have a good education system unless we have all of these. So it's got to gel together, and that's the reason, as I aforementioned, that we've got to bring together at least 1,000 people across the state with ideas, and together we can gel it.
All right. The only reason they're not monkey with possum is because they don't know the first thing about possum. That's a fact. I am.
Well, you know, there is to the better things of life, and they're really old. And one of the members of my goodness, aren't you about old enough to die? She said, no, I'm just getting ready to live. And I think that's the kind of attitude that people ought to have. And as I look around, I see a bunch of people here today that want, and that's what I want, the reason that I'm spending 21 years from my business in order to do it. Because although we've got to fight, but I want it for my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. Because this nation of ours has been good to me, and I know that it's been good to you. Judgment, and I ought to be governor of this state. Now, I was born and raised on a farm. My dad was a minister, and my mother was a minister's daughter. And I was raised strict. And I was taught those things of honesty and integrity and morality that your parents taught you in the day when a man's word was his bond, as it ought to be today. And for 13 years of our life, we've been full-time farmers. And then I was elected probate judge of Coleman County. And as the probate judge, I think the things that really hurt me the most was to see many of our older citizens as they would come into my office, and although it didn't have anything to do particular with my office, to tell me of how hard it was to make ends meet, how hard it was for them to make their check go far enough. It can take from his people. But I want to do everything within my power to make sure that cost don't continue going up. Because many of our people, our senior citizens, and even our younger ones today, are having to make up their mind whether they're going to be able to pay their electric bill or have enough food to eat. And I think it's time that you have someone who was from the working force of Alabamians, who knows the problem, who's been there, because Helen and I, we still have to budget to be able to pay our electric bill and to buy our groceries. And we're not rich. We just frankly admit that we're not rich. But we know the problems of Alabamians, and we know the problems of senior citizens. Now, when my dad, with everything in my power, to make sure, for number one, we're not going to have special sessions of the legislature except under emergencies. The special sessions, there are some widow ladies across this state that reach up on the grocery shelves for some groceries, and they can't pay for them because the prices had to go up as a result of it. We've got to put a stop to that sort of nonsense. It's time, we need a people's candidate for governor, one who knows the needs and one who knows the problems. And so, wonderful state and wonderful people. And I think we need to be thankful for God's blessings upon us. And we need to pray that God will bless us as a state and as a nation to rise to new heights, that all of us might not just be proud of Alabama because we live in the states will look at us and will say, well, gee, you're from Alabama, the leader of all the states in the nation. That's what we need to look for.
Okay, right now, if he
Mighty good to see you. Well, okay. I know. That's okay. I understood.
At an evening rally, Guy Hunt spoke about the major theme of his campaign, the preservation of the free enterprise system. At an evening rally, Guy Hunt spoke about the major theme of his campaign, the preservation of the free enterprise system. This campaign day begins early this morning at 7:30. He'll board his motorhome and begin a campaign trip through South Alabama.
That's all it wants to give me shaking hands with someone. That's all it is. Okay. How you doing? I'm Guy Hunt, running for governor. I sure would appreciate your voting on that. I appreciate that. I really do. Running for governor. Sure would appreciate your voting on that. How you doing? All right, appreciate that.
We got a slave
How you doing? See you done got one of my brochures.
best I can.
Yes, sir. I'm fine. I'm Guy Hunt, running for governor.
I know who you are.
I sure would appreciate that vote, man.
Thank you.
Judge Hunt, first of all, do you see any special problems in our education system in the state?
Well, yes, there's quite a bit of problem in our education system. For number one, we've got too much politics in it. I think that we've had some very powerful legislatures in the past who have raided the Special Education Trust Fund for private projects, and sometimes they run unnecessary and duplication. I think that today we need more input into our education system from all segments of our society, especially parents and students and business and professional people, the people who are going to have to be hiring in years to come. And I see a lot of problems as far as our elementary and secondary education. Some of the schools of our state do not have the facilities that are proper for good learning. And in some systems, the teachers themselves have to buy test scores and have to spend so much time raising money they don't have time to teach. So I think that we've got a lot of problems.
Well, you say this input, would that come from like this task force that you're planning to put together?
Well, yes, I will encourage it from the task force. Of course, I do think that in each individual basis for each individual school that we need more input. You know, we came from a time the integration of schools, the busing of children, that many people just sort of backed up and began to let all the professional educators run the schools, and the input was not as much as it was in the days of my parents. I think parents have got to be interested in education. I think if they're not, then the students are not going to learn as much. They don't think it's as vital. My dad is an example, and Mom always, they sent us to school to learn, and they expected us to learn, and if we got into any discipline problems, we also were disciplined when we got home. So I think it's this type of interest that's lacking in our education system, and we've got to return to it.
Exactly what is this special task force that you are proposing of the 1,000, mainly the
Well,
1,000 people?
I'll be proposing 1,000 people around the state. As an example, Montgomery County will, of the 1,000, will have somewhere between 50 and 70 on the task force. It will be divided up into small groups, small enough to work. I will ask them to serve without pay because of their interest in Alabama and the fact that every individual citizen, when Alabama grows and prospers, will they as an individual also grow with the group.
It'll be bipartisan?
It'll be bipartisan. I will be looking for people from grassroots Alabama, not the professional politicians, the people who have had their hands on the strings necessarily all these years, but the forgotten people. And I continually talk about the forgotten farmer, the forgotten wage earner, and the forgotten small business people. And of course, it'll cover even a broader scope than that. But I feel like that we're bankrupt for ideas in state government because we have not gone to the people. Politicians too long have been talking to the people. I think we've got to be the kind of statesmen that listen to the people, and I want to return to that concept of government.
Following its stop in Alabaster, the Hunt campaign continued its southward journey, stopping in Clanton. So what? Yeah. The Hunt campaign continued in Alabaster, where Chris Grimshaw reports. Hunt continued campaigning in Clanton, where Chris Grimshaw reports.
In Clanton, Hunt's campaign continued on the plank of Alabama's agricultural industry. In Clanton, Hunt's campaign centered on his plank of Alabama's agricultural industry.
Guy Hunt, running for governor.
I'm for Raspberry.
Yes, sir. Good. Need your vote now.
Well, we'll see what we do.
All right.
No, I'm not going to have one right now.
Just bought some apples from you, They said they wanted some pictures here.
All right.
So, he said he was telling me a while ago he wanted me down there. So, I sure appreciate that. I appreciate that. I need to shake hands with you girls again while you get your picture on Channel 12 TV in Montgomery. You say,
Oh, I'm not dressed
you're not dressed for TV? Yeah, but you're selling taters and apples and things, so you're dressed just right for that. Okay. Well, thank you. I'm Guy Hunt, running for governor.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. Sure would appreciate your votes in November. Now, the way I've got it figured, I need 2 more. If I've got your 2,
All
got your
right.
2, then I'll win. All right, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, man.
I was in a revival and didn't get
Yes,
to be
sir.
there.
Well,
Nice to meet
it's good to see you, and I sure would appreciate your vote now in November.
Thank you. I heard you on TV last night. It sounded real good.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Good to meet you.
Well, good.
Good talk to me on television.
Well, thank you.
Before last, I guess.
Well, no, it was last night, I
Was it?
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, it's good to meet you. I sure do need that vote now. Turn around here, Harlan, while they get your picture. Now, you're the, where's that sign? Where'd you say that sign is?
It's someplace around town. I don't know, the red has it around town
Sure
someplace.
appreciate all you've done.
Thank
Mark,
you.
step on out here.
Thank you.